Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you my very first pickup truck. Now this lucky little Chevy Silverado got to me via Copart, where I won it for a $500 bid. It looks like this thing was in a minor rollover, has an unknown amount of miles, and comes with no keys. Because of the last part, we don't even know if it runs or drives yet. Now use this as a public service announcement to check your tires, because based on this auto check report, the reason why this thing turned over was the condition of the tires. On the plus side, we do have this really expensive ranch hand bumper, a cold air intake from K&N, and that's about it. Now, based on my research, one of these trucks should be startable by just jumping 3 relays. I inserted one of these homemade jumping leads into the fuel pump relay spot, as well as the ignition relay spot. And then inserted the last one into where the starter relay would go, but we need to insert this one temporarily because we don't really want the starter to go on forever. All we need to do is just get it to spin enough to start the motor. Okay, come on, buddy. Okay. Seems like we're getting combustion, so we're getting both ignition and fuel. We're also getting a lot of smoke, but that's fine. Might be from it being overturned or something. Has some oil in the exhaust, plus half of the exhaust is missing. I think we just keep cranking it, and one of these times it's gonna keep running. It might be some sort of anti-theft system. I'm not sure. Maybe this model is equipped with some sort of immobilizer that keeps it from running if it doesn't detect a key. What's funny is that it allows it to start. It just doesn't let it keep running. My God, that is a lot of smoke. Right, so here's the scoop on this truck. I bought both of these trucks on the same day on the same auction. Oh, we have locked up seat belts. That's unfortunate. I ended up finding a friend of a friend who wanted a truck, wanted something cheap, so I had offered either one of these trucks for him to pick up as long as I can make a couple $100 on the sale so that I haven't completely wasted my time bidding and setting up delivery and whatnot. Yes, unfortunately this one is not going to stick around even though it is in much nicer shape. I would much rather keep this. However, it is a 2-seater, well 3 I guess. And my problem with pickup trucks that are 2-3 seaters is the fact that I can't recline far enough. I am 6'3" and usually I do not feel comfortable on long trips, but this thing here was obviously some sort of a company truck. I think it was an electrical company. This thing has racked up, I think, 200,000 miles, a little over 206. It's a 2012 and it was listed in a run and drive condition, and obviously it was crashed, meaning that it was probably driven and used by this company on a daily basis. So I have quite a bit of faith in this car being mechanically good. However, you should never do that with Copart cars because you never really know. It's driving pretty good. Motor seems good. Transmission seems good. One of our tires is a little low, but not that big of a deal. It's so weird seeing the truck bed in my rear view. Such an odd thing to look at. It's pretty cool though. I kind of enjoy it. I mean, pickup trucks are insanely convenient. I've been wanting one for a while. I think it would make a lot of sense for me to own one, especially for all the towing. But honestly, when I buy from my local Copart, there's really no need for me to tow stuff myself because delivery costs $70, and honestly, I'll be saving very little money by going out there to pick it up myself. I don't really need to tow much. But if I ever do, obviously pickup truck would be a good answer. Plus just the convenience of the bed is great for like motorcycles and stuff like that. Anyway, this thing runs and drives great. So it seems I don't hear any weird noises. We have no weird shifts. They're planning to drive this car off tonight and then drive it to Michigan. I just wanted to make sure that it's not completely ruined and is drivable. So currently our issues are, I don't think there's a left turn signal because the headlight is damaged. We also have an airbag light, and then the airbag light is probably for the locked up seatbelt. Luckily the airbags did not go off, but pretty cool, pretty cool. My first truck. This is the first truck that belongs to me that I have driven, and I'm gonna sell it within hours. Well, it was good to have you, little GMC. This was fun. I genuinely, I mean, I kind of like this thing. If it wasn't for it being a regular cab, potentially I would have kept you. Probably not. I don't know. I don't think no. I don't imagine this or the Chevy would be something I keep. Just because if I were to get a pickup truck, I would need something that can actually haul weight, and neither this or the Silverado can do more than, I think, 5,500 pounds, which is kind of silly because my Volkswagen Touareg can do more. Kind of funny, kind of not. So definitely not keeping either one of these, but I'm sure one of these days we are going to get ourselves into a pickup truck sometime down the road, but it'll just be a cooler one, I think. I think we have no choice but to get new keys from the dealer to actually get this truck to run. The reason why it was parked so crooked is the fact that it was loaded off a flatbed. Good morning. Now it's a few days later. I had to wait for the title to get delivered so that I can go to the car dealer, the Chevy dealer nearby, and give them proof of ownership and ask for new keys, which they can do just from our VIN number. Luckily, that wasn't an issue, so we have two brand new keys, and this only costs, I think, $56 for two keys. By Audi standards, that is incredibly cheap because our keys are usually like at least $300 to $400, sometimes closer to $1,000. Now, to be perfectly honest with you, I got these keys yesterday and I've already confirmed that they work. And the only reason why I can't show you the footage is because I accidentally recorded all of that in time lapse. So yeah, that kind of didn't work out. But now what I need to do is get new wheels and tires on this. Well, just the tires, because obviously these tires are no good at all. Thinking I can just drive it off the dollies. So it's gonna be in rear wheel drive. It should be able to just pop off these, and then hopefully these will stay under the wheels. This is probably like a terrible idea. The cable got disconnected because there's like zero resistance in this. Right, so fingers crossed that this junkyard door, that's stupidly heavy by the way, is the same as what we took off. Definitely by far the heaviest door I've ever had to deal with. That is a toughie. Obviously we are going to need to get this thing spray painted. I just want to make sure that everything works with this door because I don't really know what I'm looking at when I'm dealing with Chevy, so I don't want to spend a bunch of money on painting this door and then find out that it doesn't fit or that it's too short or too long or something like that. Oh, there we go. Seems to be the same. Obviously I would rather not sell it like this, and I'll probably paint this. But then if I get this painted, should I worry about painting the other door that's showing some red paint underneath? There's a lot of unanswered questions, but we now have a mirror, which is very good. But I would rather fix the exhaust while this thing is on the lift anyway, so should probably do that first. right, now that the exhaust is all buttoned up and in one piece, I still need to get a clamp for the other section back here, but I can do it later. I'm gonna get the right clamp once I get another part for this. As you can see, we have a bit of a transfer case leak here. Not something I really have to fix, considering this is gonna be a pretty cheap truck, but might as well, right? I mean, I saw this leak, and with the lift, it's not too hard to replace, so we might as well just do that. I believe it's this seal right here that is leaking. As far as I know, it's a pretty common problem on these, so let's just get to it. And here goes the seal that we're hoping to replace. I think that this metal part here somehow got really seized onto the thing that holds the drive shaft. Oh my gosh, this was the most stubborn seal of my entire life. This was crazy. But finally we got this out. So we can install a new one, and hopefully that slides on easier than how this slid out. Okay, I finally managed to get the seal in. It was definitely a bit of a challenge, but what worked for me was, in order to get the seal started on this output shaft, I used a cap off of an oil jug, and that allowed me to slide it onto this. But then obviously at some point we just hit the shaft and not the seal. So at that point, I used a piece of wood that I fed through here and hammered on the other end. It worked out. It was, yeah, we just need to find the right strategy for this. And of course, I did sand down the shaft first, because it was a little rusty, and that was probably one of the reasons why we were having such clearance issues. I did see a YouTube video where a guy used one of these cans, and I did try that, but I didn't like it. The size here kind of risks damaging the seal itself. Because it's not resting on the metal piece of the seal, rather than the cap was sitting on this inner flat spot, which is pretty sturdy. So luckily, with that finished up and hopefully no longer leaking, we can try and fill up our fluid and see how that goes. Now before I go and take this car for a test drive, I do want to take advantage of it being on the lift and check if our all-wheel drive works, or 4x4 or whatever. It doesn't look like it's spinning. Oh well, we are still in neutral. Silly me. Okay, perfect. Fingers crossed it drives well enough to sell it, because we're kind of getting there. I'm still undecided on what I'm going to do with this color door. Sure, I would like to respray it, but is it really worth it? I don't know if that's going to pay itself off. But like with the condition of these rockers, the body is already going to be pretty rough, unless I decided to fix that too. But does it really make sense to do that on a car that has 216,000 miles? Potentially not. Potentially not. So we might just sell it as a cheap, usable, drivable truck. All right, first time driving the 2007 Chevy Silverado. Ignore that, we are going to get around to it. Looks like we've got brakes, we've got oil pressure, we have very little gas, so we might as well go and fill up right now. Yeah, it is not a smooth ride, not at all. Potentially that's because we're in four-wheel, so I'm gonna turn that off once we get to the gas station, which is just around the corner. My God, the handling is just so bad. Oh man, domestic cars are just kind of hilarious that way. So I listed this truck up for sale like 2 days ago, probably with no dash lights, and what do you know, we're currently picking up a toolbox that I'm very excited for, but we did get a check engine light, if you can see it without that glare, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. We should be able to handle a little check engine light. Luckily, Xtool were kind enough to sponsor today's video and sent me this scanner. This is an Xtool D5S, which is a standalone wired scanner that has no hidden fees, no annual subscriptions, and should be usable on almost any make and model. As you can see, I just got this thing out of the box, so you guys are gonna be checking this thing out along with me. It does have its own battery, so you're not always relying on the OBD port energy. We've got a register real quick. This, by the way, is the email you can use if you want to reach out and buy on Copart or IAA using my dealer's license. And then we just click on start to use, and let's start with auto scan. Okay, maybe it doesn't like old trucks, so let's see if we can exit out of this. Doesn't seem to be possible. It's been doing this for 2 minutes or so, and now I'm getting impatient. Potentially this is just the first time use sort of thing. This thing needs to wake up. It just came from a factory, so potentially there's some processing it needs to do first. Read DTC. Alright, so we just have an evap issue. Pretty expected problem on a truck this old with this many miles. Silverado Classic, yes. With traction control, I have no idea. Maybe not. Probably. Again, too many questions. So besides reading your codes, this thing can also do quite a bit of other things. AGR stuff, ABS bleeding. Honestly, this is pretty good. I don't know if this thing can actually do all of this, but let's check. Let's go into GM. 2007. It is a little annoying to have to type this in every time. We're testing our windows. It really doesn't need to know whether I have drum brakes or not. Okay, and it's testing left rear window, which are manually opening, so there's no way to activate it. I don't know what this thing is thinking, but let's try. Yeah, down. Okay, nothing is happening. Chances are that this is an issue with the truck rather than the scan tool itself. The truck is just too old and it doesn't support these functions via the OBD port. Standard scanner procedures that you would normally do. As some of you guys may know, I already have a couple of different Bluetooth dongles, like the top-down top scan. I have an OBD11 for all of my VW Audi products. An issue with those is that they are Bluetooth operated via my phone. So if I ever want to record while reading codes, it kind of becomes an issue with me having to switch between screens and screen record and stuff like that. So I've been wanting a standalone unit, which is this is exactly what we needed. Hopefully they're going to be coming out with more and more updates for the software for the lifetime of this product, which makes sense because this thing connects to Wi-Fi, so it will be able to upload those updates. So it looks like the faster way of getting your codes is via OBD function. We're not going to have to type in our car information. We just click on auto scan, it connects, and then we can read our trouble codes. Here goes that same PO449. So if you guys would like to get one of these for yourself, please use the link in the description and support this channel as well as my dear sponsors who help me out a ton. Thank you very much to Xtool for sending over this product. Hopefully this thing serves me well for a long time. But what really surprised me is the fact that this thing was able to read the codes on my Triumph Street Triple. These things are usually pretty finicky with different scan tools, and potentially this thing is even able to get better results than this, but I went into a generic OBD2 mode and it was unable to pull the description of the code, but it did pull the code itself. I have a laptop that I have TuneECU on, which usually is able to read the codes on this, but it was acting up a lot lately, and it takes a very long time to connect to the bike if it even happens. So very glad that Xtool was able to communicate with the Triumph. This saves me quite a bit of time. After a quick Google search, I found out that that is simply a immobilizer code caused by my wireless charger here. It interferes with the antenna for the key in the ignition switch, meaning that all I have to do is erase it, and let's see if this thing is able to do that. Perfect. Now start her up. and our check engine light is gone.
Very happy with that. That was bugging me and I didn't know what the code was for. So luckily, no longer an issue, and all thanks to our X tool.
Now it's time to change the vapor canister, which should get rid of our check engine light. And as soon as I'm done with this, I do have a buyer coming down that will hopefully take this truck. And no, I did not have that door resprayed. It just didn't seem like a reasonable move with how the condition of this truck was. I think I got approximately $2,200 for it, which is lower than I expected, but good enough. They were good people, so I didn't mind going down on my price a little. I guess that's a successful flip. I'm glad I get to experiment with the truck a little, just something new, something that I've been curious about and just wanted to drive around for a little while. So we got that out of the way. Now on to the next. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next time.